Legalizing recreational marijuana in Florida. It's now up to the voters to decide in November.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Nathalie Pozo.
This November, Floridians aren't just deciding on a president, they're also weighing in on 6 proposed constitutional amendments. This morning, we are taking a look at Amendment 3. It allows anyone over 21 years old to buy, possess, and use marijuana for personal use. It would limit the amount to 3 ounces of marijuana per person. In order for the amendment to become law, it would need 60% support from voters to pass. We begin our discussion this morning with political science professor Dr. Luz Marina Garcia from Florida Atlantic University. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning, Dr. Garcia. So last month, the Florida Supreme Court ruled that Amendment 3 could be on the ballot in November. Let's talk about the language on the ballot.
Yeah, so the initial controversy was that there should only be one subject on a referenda, and so here we had 2. It was legalizing and also distribution, but on April 1st, the Florida Supreme Court did allow for the language to exist on the November 5 ballot. So the initiative addresses a couple of things. So first, recreational use being legalized for individuals over 21, also allowing medical marijuana centers currently distributing to distribute for personal use as well. And finally, there's also the permission to allow other licensing to happen for other distributors. And so these centers have been around since 2016 when it was legalized. It's also important to note that by the end of last year, 24 states and Washington, D.C. had legalized marijuana use.
Right, and Florida was among the ones, too, that had the medical marijuana of 12 states that are still doing medical marijuana. So in 2016, about 71% of voters legalized medical marijuana here in Florida. But in order to pass, it did take a while. Do you kind of see the same thing happening with now recreational use as well?
Yes, I do believe it's going to be an uphill battle. So I am part of the FAU Pollcom initiative, and we fielded a poll in April, and we found that there were 47% of our respondents of 860 Florida eligible voters that said that they were in support. That means that about 18% were undecided and 35% were in opposition. And as you mentioned before, we need 60% to turn out and vote in support for this initiative to pass in November. That means that our undecided voters and the people in support would need to come out and vote. But I do want to note that voters in many red states, including Arkansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Oklahoma, did say no to the initiatives on their ballots. There are also some partisan differences that we need to point out. So, for example, with our polling, Democrats were more supportive than Republicans, about 58% to 39%, and there were also racial differences. So, black voters, 55% were supportive versus Hispanics that were 30% in support, and white voters in our sample that were about 50%.
Does the research go into why people are feeling this way?
So it seems that there are partisan differences, and so we can expect that when these ballot initiatives, both Amendment 3 and Amendment 4 about allowing for abortion past 6 weeks, when they are on the November ballot, we would imagine that such emotionally charged issues will galvanize certain voters, especially these issues that are more Democrat supported. And so it may be the case that there will be more individuals coming out because there are more emotionally charged issues on the ballot.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So do you think we're going to see higher voter turnout in November because it is a presidential election? Like you mentioned, abortion is on the ballot and now recreational use for marijuana. Do you think that will drive more people to the polls?
Yes, I feel that there will be more people at the polls, but not so much because of the referendum, more so because it's a general election. So there is research in political science that individuals turn out more during midterm elections when there are referenda on the ballot, especially when there are emotionally charged issues such as same-sex marriage and more recently abortion. However, this is a general election. I feel like individuals that are going to go cast a ballot for these referenda, we're going to cast a ballot for the president anyway.
Okay, all right. So if passed, what will this do for the economy here in our state?
So a couple of changes could be seen. So first, Western states that have already adopted recreational use are collecting about $100 million per year in revenue. And what we see is that newer adopters in smaller states aren't getting those levels of revenue, but a large state like Florida will probably get that revenue long term. What we also see is that some people would be worried that individuals would work less or would do perhaps not work at all. But what the research points to is that we actually have some growth in agricultural sectors, perhaps from the distribution and the collection of marijuana. Finally, what we see is some other public health concerns that have been ameliorated. For example, what we see is that young adults consume less alcohol, and there are robust findings for this. So there are also potential public health effects that can impose or reduce certain costs to society. So one would be that people might hope that marijuana replaces opioid use, and there are mixed findings on that. Where we do see more consistent evidence is in recreational marijuana being found to reduce alcohol consumption by young adults, and also reducing rape and property crimes, and also reduce car insurance rates because there's less drunk driving.
Lots to talk about here on this topic. Dr. Luz Marina Garcia, thank you so much for your time, political science professor at FAU. Coming up here next, we're going to focus on Trulieve, the company that financed the group pushing to get the measure on the ballot.
Fighting Florida pests.
The plants you can put in your backyard to fight off mosquitoes.
Chances for storms before more intense heat returns. I'll time out what you can expect for the work week.
We're there when news breaks in every community, whether you're navigating Palm Beach County traffic or tracking storms on the Treasure Coast. Watch WPBF 25 News Mornings everywhere, every day.
When it comes to upgrading to a beautiful commercial grade floor from Ox Floors, numbers matter. How about 10 times stronger than epoxy? Professionally installed in one day by a 5-star company. Ready to walk on in 3 hours. Financing available from $59 per month. But the most important number? Ox Floors phone number, 772-758-5851. Call now to get your free estimate and 30% off. Upgrade your garage floor, pool, deck, or patio now with Florida's #1 choice, Ox Floors.
It started. It's the side hug. Tween milestones like this may start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for others, it can cause certain cancers later in life. Welcome! Now, as the dad cab, it's my cue to help protect them.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination.
Planet Oats so creamy and not watery like.
Exactly, and unsweetened has 0 grams of sugar.
And don't forget, it's an excellent source of calcium.
Wow, Planet Oat really has it all.
You guys are so right. No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are. Yeah, you are.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Back again, huh? You must love losing.
You're buying the next one.
You gotta win one first.
Okay.
Bundle and save at McDonald's. Get a McDouble or hot and spicy McChicken with small fries for $3.89. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
Here with us now is Steve Van Coor with Trulieve, a company that runs marijuana dispensaries across the state. Steve, thanks so much for being here with us this morning. So the company pushed to get this on the ballot, even financing the campaign. So what does this mean for your consumers?
Well, if this were to pass, this means nothing but good things. It means adults will have the freedom to use cannabis for their own personal consumption in the privacy of their own homes without fear of arrest or reprisal. It'll also mean fewer people sitting in our jails. It'll also mean cops, police, firefighters, sheriff's deputies, etc., won't have to worry about that aspect. They can focus on violent crimes and other types of crimes. And thirdly, it'll bring in more tax dollars to the state that can be used explicitly as the legislature would like.
So what does this license process look like right now? You already have medical, so does this put you kind of ahead of the game? And what does that mean for the person who has to really start from the ground up? Do they have an equal opportunity to compete if they are wanting to start a marijuana business?
Well, how the legislature will license and set up the licensure is yet to be determined, right? One step at a time. Let's pass this thing first. And then the legislature will have complete authority to regulate how it's structured, how people can get licenses, whether they can get a license just to grow, just to distribute, just to sell, or all three. Right now in Florida, there are 22 active licenses. By the time this would come online, there'll be over 40. So I think it's a pretty broad and very competitive playing field.
Steve, I want to talk a little bit about the licensing process because I know from other states that have been through something similar, it's a very, very long process. This is not, if this passes in November, all of these marijuana dispensaries are all of a sudden going to pop up the next day. This is a multi-step process.
Absolutely. And, each state has done it a little differently. I think Florida under the medical program has done a very good job. And what makes it very good is that every product that comes out of a medical marijuana dispensary in Florida is independently tested by a third-party lab for safety to make sure there's no improper additives or ingredients. Recently in the Florida House of Representatives, Representative Masula, who's a physician, said over 90% of marijuana confiscated in the illegal market contains some sort of dangerous additive, whether that's an illegal or outlawed pesticide or herbicide, or ketamine, meth, fentanyl. And what we see in Florida is a well-regulated system. We haven't had any of those problems with the medical marijuana market. And when the legislature takes this up, assuming it passes, they will be able to put the same kind of restrictions in place to make sure that what consumers are getting is safe. And then we think that's a very good thing.
Steve, I want to talk to you about a recent poll by Florida Atlantic University. It found that 47% of voters supported legalizing marijuana, 34% said they're going to vote no, and 18% are undecided. You need 60% of support in order for this to pass. What are your thoughts on that poll?
I'm so glad you brought that up because there have been a number of really bad polls out there. And the one you're referencing from FAU is a really good example of that. They did not talk to just likely voters. They talked to adults. They also had, for example, more independent voters than Democrats, which is a tactical, physical impossibility. I'm mixing that up with the USA Today poll. The FAU poll only had 15% independent voters self-described. We are anticipating about 28%. They also didn't ask the ballot language. So when you don't talk to just voters from the voter file, you use an email system, you're going to get selective bias. They didn't ask the ballot language, and it wasn't properly balanced to look like the electorate. What we're seeing across the board is valid, legitimate polls that balance them correctly, that ask the ballot language and talk to likely voters. Those polls have consistently shown this above 60%.
So your company is feeling confident going into the November election?
Well, we're feeling that the voters want this. We had over 1 million signatures. People were very enthusiastic to sign it, but we know it's going to be a battle. We know we're going to have to communicate the right things to voters. There's a lot of misinformation being put out there now. For example, some folks are saying that the legislature won't be able to control time, place, and manner. That's completely untrue. The ballot language itself explicitly gives the authority to the legislature to control time, place, and manner. What that means is you won't have people smoking marijuana in restaurants. You won't have them smoking it in libraries. Just like they regulate tobacco, just like they regulate alcohol, beer, wine, and spirits, they'll be able, and they should, and we hope they will, put very strict regulations on public smoking so that children and others are not exposed to this. If you don't want to smell it, you shouldn't have to smell it. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't smoke marijuana either, but I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't like the smell of it. And so we hope and we will support strongly that the legislature would enact those kind of restrictions for time, place, and manner.
Steve, we're running out of time here, but I do want to ask you, what do you want to say to the people who don't want this in their neighborhood or close to their neighborhoods?
Well, a couple things. One, it's already there. Two, speaking of neighborhoods, 3 people last year died in North Tallahassee, just north of Tallahassee, from buying cannabis on the illegal market. And that cannabis was laced with what they called, I talked to the sheriff, a hot batch that had fentanyl in it, and 3 of them died from that. I don't think anybody would want someone to die from it. So if you don't like cannabis, obviously this will be your choice not to consume, as many of us don't. However, in the event that you have a neighbor who would like to smoke in the privacy of their own home, let's hope we all agree that they shouldn't die from potentially a bad batch or herbicides or pesticides that have been outlawed and put on in excess capacity, and shouldn't have to worry about being arrested in the privacy of their own home.
Steve Van Coor, thank you so much for your time this morning and for
Thanks for
being
having
here
me.
with
Appreciate
us.
it.
When On the Record returns, we're going to explore the other side of the debate when it comes to addiction and recovery.
Function. Say hello to form. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Deputy Police Chief Facebook controversy, Tuesday at 11.
Meet the future. A chef, a designer, and an engineer. All learning to save and spend their money with Chase. The chef's cooking up first with her new debit card.
Hungry?
Uh-huh. The designer's eyeing sequins, plaid. While mom is eyeing his spending. Nice. And the engineer? She's taking control with her own account for college. 3 futures, all with Chase. Freedom for kids, control for parents. One bank for both. Chase, make more of what's yours.
For Florida homeowners, it's not a question of if, but when the next hurricane will come. No matter what Florida weather has in store, Storm Smart has products that protect every opening of your home while improving the look, feel, and function. From durable aluminum shutters, high-impact windows and doors, to our innovative storm catcher screens. Products that enhance the beauty of your home and keep your family safe. Because Smart is complete hurricane protection, and Smart is peace of mind. Call Storm Smart today for your free in-home consultation.
There's a lot of things in this world happening right now, and consumers like myself want some level of control.
My name is Amy. I've been with FPL over 6 years. There's so many initiatives to help us continue to deliver clean, reliable, and safe energy to our customers.
We've transitioned from foreign oil to natural gas, and we're moving responsibly towards solar, battery, and green hydrogen, and this will all ultimately bring savings to the customer.
I know that FPL is looking at other ways to produce energy that down the line will reduce my bill, and the future is bright.
You know that feeling you get when you look in the mirror and you see that big truck clutching the steering wheel as it gets too close? It's scary. But what's really scary is the aftermath of big truck wrecks. Permanent injuries, damages, or even death. If you or someone you care about was hurt or worse, you need a lawyer who has proven successes against the big trucking.
I'm Celicia Smith-Gordon. For me and my team, it's personal. Don't wait. Call us today.
Function. Say hello to form. How we get there matters. Get exceptional offers at your local Audi dealer.
Welcome back. Joining me now is Micah Robbins with the Community Recovery Hub of Palm Beach County, which provides support and solutions for people with substance abuse problems. Thank you so much for being here. Great to see you again. Micah, first off, let's talk about the services that the Hub provides.
Sure. Well, the Hub is a recovery community center based with a recovery community organization, and they provide recovery supports and services to anybody in Palm Beach County who is in recovery, maybe supporting someone in recovery, and that could be anything from peer supports to navigation of services, locating housing, things like that. Anything that can support the individual through their recovery journey.
All right, so what are the concerns surrounding Amendment 3 and, Florida possibly passing recreational marijuana?
Well, Amendment 3 is a complicated amendment, of course. It comes on the heels of passing the medical marijuana just a few years ago. We're not surprised by this, but I think the bigger issue people need to understand is that it's not a marijuana issue per se, it's a THC issue. For those that don't know, THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, which is what makes the part of it that gets you high, if you will. Those concentrations are so much greater now than they've ever been. So you're looking at medical quote-unquote medical dispensary marijuana, you're double-digit THC. And when they distill and concentrate that out, you can see 80–90% pure THC. This is where we're seeing major issues for our, certainly in our addiction community, but also with our youth, which is where I'm mostly concerned as well.
So Micah, you know, we've been talking about this being on the ballot in November, and the presidential election's on there, abortion is on there. Is that concerning to you that we're going to have a lot of people going out to vote in November, and you know that's going to be right there in front of them?
I think so. I think that's very strategic on the for side. And again, they've come out with a very strong arguments. They put a lot of money behind this. You just talked to the president of Trulieve, talking about a $55 million budget for, and I think they've raised about $3 million against, which is pretty typical in these situations. But to put that on the ballot this November with those other two critical issues coming up, we will have large voter turnout, and I think that was you know, part of the strategy.
So you mentioned Trulieve. You know, they said that it was going to be good for the economy here in Florida to have this passed. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's interesting because there is actually bipartisan opposition to this amendment, including Attorney General Amber Moody. And when they talk about the financial consequence, they rarely look at the other side of it, which is the consequential costs. When we look at increased needs for either treatment or recovery services, increased needs of psychiatric care, increased needs of in-bed treatment, increased needs of poly-use motor vehicle accidents and disruptions. They always go, well, it reduces alcohol. Well, a lot of times people drink less alcohol, but they still smoke marijuana and maybe have a little bit of alcohol. You put those two things together, it's still impaired driving. So if you talk to law enforcement, they'll tell you this is just not, you know, it's not quite accurate. So we understand where they're trying to come from on that, but when you have levels of THC at the levels that they're at, you'll see the challenges that come with that.
So Micah, you believe that marijuana is a gateway drug leading to more harder and deadly drugs. So what have you seen so far when it comes to addiction?
Well, what we're seeing is that we see increased uses in THC-induced psychosis and other really severe behavioral health challenges that are triggered by high concentrated THC in the brain. For our youth, we always have known that high levels of THC has impairment on development of brain development. And if we see age of onset getting lower, kids are starting to try it a little bit younger, that has a detrimental effect on further brain development.
You know, people will say, though, that are in support of this law is for people who are 21 years and older. So, you know, kids younger than that will not have access to it. Do you think that they'll find ways around that?
Have you ever heard of underage drinking? That's nonsense. And so one of the issues we're seeing in schools, we're actually seeing very little alcohol use. People used to sneak alcohol into schools, things like that. Use of THC in schools by students has increasing because it's so easy to hide. You can put it in a vape, you can put it in something that's very difficult to detect, and so use is pervasive. So there are some definite concerns here. Now for the 21 and older crowd, you're an adult, it is your choice. That's up to you to make that decision. However, I would suggest people do a little bit deeper reading than just what's presented to them.
So I asked Trulieve what they wanted to tell people who didn't want this to pass. I want to ask you, what do you want to say to people who want to see this pass?
That we already have a pretty loose medical marijuana structure in place. To get a marijuana card is really not that challenging. They already have staff there that can help you get through that process. I think it's a few dollars and come up with a diagnosis and off you go. So we have broad access to this, and also when it comes to the private, recreational possession, 3 ounces is a tremendous amount of product. So we're going to have this in possession by how many people? And then when they say, well, this is for people 21 and over, again, let's look at access.
What are you hoping for November?
I think we already have enough access here in the state of Florida, and I don't think Florida wants to be known as a marijuana capital. I think we're just fine as a sunshine state and a tourist capital.
So what does the hub do now between now and November to try and fight this?
Well, I think we need to mobilize our constituents to get out there and really understand the issue. Again, I think the opposing side has done a fabulous job. They do good work. You can't take that away from them. However, I think once people look at the entire picture of this really doesn't have a larger value proposition across the state of Florida.
All right, Micah Robbins, thank you so much for being here with us
Pleasure.
this morning. On the Record, we will be right back.
Save thousands at the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this Friday through Sunday at the Indian River County Fairgrounds in Vero Beach. Quality, American-made hot tubs and swim spas up to 50% off. Monthly payments as low as $79. Additional discounts for seniors.
WPBF 25 First Warning Weather, certified most accurate for 11 years.
I was sitting at a red light. Out of nowhere, I just got rear-ended. I reached out to Morgan & Morgan directly from the scene. Morgan & Morgan got my initial offer 10x'd. It is so easy.
Your calling. Some people find theirs at an early age, others later in life. Our calling was to build trucks, and that's why trucks are what we do. We put our everything into every truck, so that when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
During Ram season, well-qualified current FCA lessees can lease the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Quad Cab for $319 a month, or get 10% below MSRP on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Today's guest is Kara from Eyeglass World.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
All right, Kara. What's it like being the fastest woman in the world?
Me? I'm not.
But you work at Eyeglass World. You make people's glasses the same day. You're so fast.
Are you messing with me?
Do you get a lot of speeding tickets?
Get 2 pairs of glasses for $89 the same day at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses.
Our story is as rich and resilient as the land itself. We have flourished against all odds. This story is a testament to the enduring bond between our tribe and the place we call home.
We are the unconquered.
Today, we celebrate 20 years of Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, where our legacy lives on.
Whenever you need us, just reach out, and we'll be there to deliver the healthcare you need. Find a care site near you at hcafloridahealthcare.com.
I'm Jill Hazy. And I'm Erin Burns. We invite you to join us this Sunday for Total Retirement with Ernie Burns, where we'll discuss wealth management, estate planning, and more.
Ernie was named 2022's Forbes Best In-State Security Professional. You don't want to miss it.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Expo at the Indian River County Fairgrounds in Vero Beach this Friday through Sunday. Enjoy year-round fitness and exercise in a Michael Phelps Swim Spa. Free Big Green Egg with the first 5 swim spas sold each day. Additional senior discounts and financing available.
Thank you for making us a part of your morning. As always, we encourage you to be part of the discussion each and every Sunday right here at 10 a.m. Until then, you can watch this morning's On the Record and every episode on our website, WPBF.com, and on our free WPBF 25 News app. Matter of fact, with Soledad O'Brien is next. We'll see you again next Sunday.